Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode 68 of the G Niger TV Newscope. My name is Olatunde, and my co host.
Jane Rogers.
Hi, Jane. How are you today?
I'm fine, Mr. T. How you doing over there?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm trying to be okay. The weather is not too sunny today in the UK, so and I know that you guys are enjoying all the brilliant sun.
Wow.
That I've already said we need to find out the way we can bottle some of those weather down here. I think we need it. We need more of it.
Yeah, the
Right.
weather is very, very friendly here.
Okay, today. Okay, that's a good one. So, without much ado, so we want to start out the first part of the story we're talking about today is about AI. The way AI is actually impacting the world everywhere. Now, there's seems to be some unintended um, consequences of using AI. AI has come to stay. People have talked about AI taking over things. It is sort of, shall I use the word, revolutionizing everywhere. Everything that we know how to do. If you have the skill knowledge of AI, now there is so much you could do. In fact, a lot of people are using it in a very simplistic way, more like when we were using our Google. With Google, you can ask questions. Now you can go to AI, if for instance you are a farmer or something, you can actually go in there and certain things will happen. Seems to have lost Jane there. So basically what we're actually finding out now is that schools in America are actually complaining, and I think not just in America, I think it's everywhere globally. There are a lot of people now who are really having these issues right now. And that is in terms of exams. Students are actually using AI for their exams. Glad you're back with us now.
Hmm.
So, I mean, tell me, in your own view, is there anything like this at all happening in America? Like the issue of AI actually taking over a lot of things right now. Is there any issue at all along you know, this trajectory? Really?
Okay, seeing the story here in Nigeria, it's it's pretty the same experience,
Okay.
and it's for me, I don't know, I think a lot of people at some point will even get to lose their jobs because AI is literally doing almost everything. But
Okay.
we should also focus on the negative impact on it. You understand? Because
Okay.
for me, I kind of feel like it's going to make people to be lazy, right? Like,
You reckon you think that's going to happen?
yes, because imagine secondary school student feels like, oh, they don't really have to put in more effort in writing. You understand? With
Okay.
Chat GPT, they are doing everything. You understand?
Okay.
So, and then a lot of things, in fact, and then the credibility is also not there. You see videos and somebody is coming up to say that, oh, he's actually, it's actually fake. You understand? So at this point, we don't
Mm,
even tend to know what information is real and what is not even real. Do you understand? And
right.
we also
Okay.
need to also look at how do you even authenticate this whole thing. You understand? So
Okay.
there's a lot going on, and me personally, I feel like the what do you call it? I feel like there is more like, would I say, ulterior motive behind it,
Okay.
because
Mm.
before now we'll be talking about 666, and because right now AI is has taken over, so I kind of feel like maybe there's more to it. Do you
Okay.
understand that we're actually not seeing? So
So basically,
that's
is this particular US school said school turns to handwritten exams as AI cheating surges. The rise of artificial intelligence in education is forcing schools and universities to rethink everything from homework policies to how final exam are administered. With tools like Chat GPT now widespread, students can generate essays, solve complex maths problem, or draft lab reports in seconds, raising urgent questions about what authentic learning looks like in 2025. To fight back, some schools are turning to unlikely solution, pen and paper. Okay, so we're going back to the stick and stone, you know, weaponization strategy. This old school blue book, a lined booklet used for handwritten test exam, is staging a comeback, according to reporting from Wall Street Journal. And while it might seem like a relic of a pre-digital era, educators say it's one of the most effective tools they have to ensure students are actually doing their own work. This is almost a bit like okay, because we have hackers. So now, we are heading towards quite fast, cashless society, everything getting extremely digital. So if you have to counteract, say, the issue of fraudsters, digital fraudsters like hackers, then say now we are going to reverse using cash. We're going to reverse the run up to cashless society. I'm not really a fan of cashless society because it has the benefits and it has the benefits, and it also has this disadvantage as well. But now saying that we're just going back into full, we're going to be using notes. We're going back to the coins and paper notes, which if you look at it right now, except maybe you are from some parts of the world who are still heavily reliant, once the infrastructure is not really that strong enough to support the strategy into bringing in a cashless society. So I don't want to mention any country. I'm sure both of us already know. So we don't want to talk down our country. So I mean, look at that in the school. So what they are actually looking to do is this: they decided that, what, let's go back. In those days now, if you want to cheat, if even if you have giraffe neck, that you stretch your neck, you are looking. So if you don't read, but to be quite
You
honest, right,
hardly pass.
this is some of the things that ChatGPT, AI is bringing into it. And look, it's either we have some measures in place. We have some
True.
software in place that can. There are already some softwares, in some schools in the UK. I don't know about other parts of the world, whereby they can check if AI has written
Exactly.
your exams, or if they ask you to write an essay or something. There's a way they can actually do that now. AI,
Because I was about to say that, don't is there no security measures that can be taken, for
they do
instance,
have
to
there are
address
some
this?
softwares which some places actually have that you can do that. But the truth of the matter is that it's not even so
Okay.
much that we are now at a crossroad, and whether we like it or not, we are forging ahead, whatever it is. This the moment they actually allowed to they decided, when I say they, the powers that be, that yes, we can have AI. Everybody should know that we are opening a Pandora box. Yeah. From people losing their jobs. I don't even think that people would necessarily
Yeah.
lose their job like that. It's like everything in life.
They
Change always
will. They
coming.
will, sir.
Life is dynamic, constant. It's a constant, continual change. So if people are supposed to be in, when this thing comes in, you can come and say, oh, this is going to happen. Students will cheat, things will, workers will get lazy. Hello, you have better get on board and learn it, how to utilize it. I use it for for a lot of things. And you are, from what I can see personally, it's more of, you have to know what you are doing. If you don't know what you are doing, in fact, you're only limited by your imagination of what you can do. I kid you not. I use AI for literally almost most of the stuff, at least probably around maybe 55% of what I do. AI can give you whatever it is.
Wow.
I would say it's scary, but I found out that I have to up my game. You know, in time past, when there was industrial age, if you don't remember now in Africa, they will tell you, if you don't read your book, if you read your book, you are, you know, You have the a professional engineer, whether you're a medical doctor, they will tell you that once you are doing that, your shoe will sound cool car. You know what I mean by that? That means that you'll be successful in life.
mm,
Now we are finding things are different. People are
mm.
actually doing very well outside of the academic box. You
Yeah,
cannot underestimate
outside of the
education. There is
education.
no, so because education itself, people are realizing that does not teach you to be self-sufficient. It's only, it makes you employable. So for people who are career minded, education is just perfect. The academy, I believe, is one of the vision that I actually believe in, that I would like to have a school, but not the normal school. I'm talking of the business school, practical business school.
Mm.
That's the reason back then we had
Makes sense.
polytechnics. That's why we had polytechnic. We had universities. Unfortunately, I won't say. I don't want to make a sweeping statement and say in Africa. I would say in Nigeria. They look down on people who are really, polytechnic. Say, this one polytechnic. So most people once to
Mm.
finish their polytechnic, their OND, their HND, they go back to what? To go and do degree. Say, hey, I have a degree. They will never mention that they have an OND or an HND. And the truth of the
Mm.
matter is that they end up using what they actually learned in the polytechnic, even outside of the polytechnic, which is similar to what they were going to get in the polytechnic curriculum. They, literally everything that they had there. A lot of people look outside the Nigerian society now. We have loads of Nigerians who are doing what they are doing well outside of that confine. These
Mm.
days, if they don't employ you, you better employ yourself. So there are some
Exactly.
of us. There are some of us that are academics, and there are some of us that are not. It doesn't matter whichever way. Do you understand? We can only have one president at any point in time. We cannot have two presidents. We can have vice presidents, but what people don't realize is that when you have these issues in place, they sort of erroneously believe that once you have a degree, a PhD, that's what people say. Oh, we have a master's. So we have a PhD. Brilliant, well done. Most of the people there will be employed by what? People that don't have formal education or have what they call lower grade education. The United Kingdom went into that. After a while, everybody. So there was now all this kind of bread and butter degrees. You know, a degree in butterfly flight, degree in all sort of manners of things were in. They were not really practical. Even if you want to, so a lot of people said yes, I have a degree, but they were not employable. You understand what
Sure.
I'm saying? And that was why we have professional exams, which were more practical, and they are constantly being adjusted to meet the needs and the requirements of, the business community. But we don't have that in other places, really. So people are different. And that's why we always say that don't look at what people are doing, look at where you are coming from. So right now, with AI, right, you can't. We have now masters in AI. AI is practically everywhere. Artists are under threat. You can create videos, a whole movie without a formal producer. All you have to know is now people are learning prompts. The prompts are like the language of AI. So you can ask it. So if you frame those prompts in a proper manner, then you actually will find out that it will give you the right output. I use it. You create music with
But does
AI.
it come out at the same with the practical ones?
Yeah, well, I don't know what you mean by practical ones. As how? Like what?
Like, for skilled, you understand, for the
Yeah.
unskilled people that
Say
go
for
through the
instance, now I've been asked to write a
rigorous
report.
trainings.
If I've been asked to write a report or draw out a strategy about certain things, the human brain, while it's extremely powerful, after all, is the human brain that actually created the AI. But AI has the ability, yeah, AI has the ability where I know for a fact that human beings are capable of that, but we don't exploit that, because human beings, we are trapeze beings, which means that we're spirit, we're soul, we're body. Do you understand? Now we
Yes.
now have AI that have these computational powers, that can grab information at an incredible speed, articulate, put information and everything together that you require. I can say say for instance, imagine if you use there's one of the prompts that's called Mid Journey for those who are into video audit pictures and all. If a part of the prompts could be like imagine creating a gentleman from West Africa, Nigeria, sitting by the seaside, near the Manhattan, near Manhattan skyscraper, looking up into the dark night with the moon shining, so that in black and white, in 4K, in 8K. That is a prompt. So the moment you actually say stuff like that, what do you think will actually happen? Immediately you actually say something like that, it's going to give you an image. It will generate an image for you literally within 1 minute. Which artist can draw like that at that speed?
Exactly. We've spent so much on AI.
On AI, yeah,
I,
practically. Yeah, because it's quite
it seems
powerful.
you've taken a course on that.
Yeah, I've taken it. Well, because I use it every time. At least I've been using it for the past, I think, 2 years now. So
Wow.
anyway, so without much ado, so now we're at a crossroad. We are now going back to now do the practical. We're going back to the path to deal with the problem, the unintended, emerging problem because of AI. So anyway, let's move on swiftly. I think we've got our time is far spent. So let's see. So the next one that we've got to talk about is about the Niger guy that hang on. So it's about the Niger guy that they said because of loneliness, he now actually rapes a pony. It's disheartening. I'm not going to show any pictures, because sometimes it's very easy. I'm not, God forbid, I'm not condoning anything. But what could make a man, to go out there and be saying and leave a woman and now say that he's going to be sleeping with animals? You know, it's very easy to, yeah, he's mad. They should lock him up and throw him away and things. Human beings are very complex. There's a lot of problem in the society, in the United Kingdom. Not just these things is not unique to the United Kingdom. Even in Nigeria, it happens. We've seen videos of certain tribe of people. I'm very careful not to, so that I'm not tagging a whole region. You know, Everybody knows. We've seen videos of them that are leading. You know, Animals. They are animals about, and you see them having sex with them. They have literally. I've stumbled on one, and I'm thinking this is madness. It's enough to say that you don't want to eat cow that you know that is being sold in Nigeria. When you have it, so you now see that it is not just here. Unfortunately, it's not just a black person. It's not a black person problem. It's not a white person problem. It's not an Asian problem or whatever problem it is. And so the gentleman was said to have hang on a sec. He said the guy in a Trowbridge wheelchair was caught on camera entering the pony stable before carrying out a disgusting act on the defenseless animal, leaving the owner heartbroken. The man who avoided jail for raping a Shetland pony was lonely. He got hurt. You know, Honestly, without going into too much details, but there's just something I just want to say. There's just something I really want to add about this. There are some things, in modern life that are creating issues. Unfortunately, it is not a matter of it's definitely not a matter of a man now having the right to now start going and now start chasing animals to satisfy his urges. It's really sad. It's really, really sad. But I believe that this is a wider issue that should actually be looked into. We cannot pretend and just say yes, on the face of it, and just be, lambast and just, yeah, throw him in jail, lock him up. But society is changing. People are getting into relationship. Unlike before, you get introduced, you go out and things. Now, because of the sort of work life that you hardly have time for anything else. If you have been working, if you have normal shift, and you kind of you work in a fast-paced place, I'm sure the last thing you want to do is say that you want to go to a party or to a place where you can meet other people. Some people can function on that level. I mean, easy peasy for them. Some other people can't. Some other people can't. And that's not saying that that is an excuse, that is acceptable. No, it's not. So you have all these kind of relationship apps in place, talking about all the different things, if you want the one for one night stand, if you want the one for sugar daddy, you have it. If you so I was actually surprised, whether you want to see it or not. Sometimes some of these things will pop or pop up on your email. What people are offered these days, it in fact is amazing. The sort of things that you dare not even talk about, or well, it's kind of things that you will feel that they are quite despicable are now being openly, demonstrated. you know I think I saw this story of a guy that just came in from Nigeria and was telling people that he said, he's been in the United Kingdom for about 2 years, that he has not slept with a woman. I'm like, well, is it that you came to come and sleep with a woman here? You understand what I'm saying? So now we're not having those issues in place, that what is exactly is really going on, because people don't have that the social life because of the work, because of the work environment that we actually have right now. Doesn't give any room for anything. People have bills to pay, so they are constantly prioritizing, focus, and rightly so. But then when it goes to a stage whereby people don't have any social life, they don't mingle or get to know people the normal way and things. Dating is now, speed dating. Just go to a place, you see that for five, they'll tell you that maybe for 30 seconds. How are you? What's your name? You are John. Okay, you are Sandy. So I like you, you don't like me. Okay, all right, yeah, change table, you move to someone else. What is that? And people are looking at it, they're thinking, oh, 24th century. What kind of 24th century madness is that? What sort of 24th century madness is that? It's not an excuse, because but people want, a lot of people that come from Nigeria, where they can easily meet people, sit outside. You don't have that in most European countries. You don't. I don't want to say what the guy said, that the advice he gave to Nigerians who want to jackpot to Europe. Or maybe I should say it. He said, if you want to, that if you are coming down abroad, you won't get any action. Let me just speak it like, you know what I mean. You won't get any action. So you better have as much action as you like. Say, because he has been here for 2 years, he has not had one. Now see that that right now that he's frustrated. That was what he said. So but then, so that's what they're saying here. In this case, that this man's defense is that he's lonely. So because you are lonely now, so all animals in your area now, any female animal now, they are now at risk. But if you look at it truly, in most Western countries, things that normally it used to be like what we say pedophiles, which was, something that was referred more to men than to women. But now you're not having school teachers, married, 30 something, 40 something, sleeping with their students, sleeping with their students, even younger. You could say those ones are okay, fine. They are middle age and all that. But what about the ones that are like 20 something? And she has a steady relationship. She's not lonely. She has a steady relationship. But she's sleeping with some of the students who are like, some of them, I don't even, maybe they're not even teenagers yet. Not just one of them, just grabbing so much, a whole lot of them. So you can see that the problem is really endemic than what we're being led to believe. So, okay, so moving swiftly on, because our time is fast spent. Right. So we now have the story of, I think this will be our last one here. It's about the victim of Abuja one chance. So Jane, I mean, this is your, I mean, this was the story you came up with. I mean, what exactly happened here?
Okay, so it's about a story of a Ghanaian lady who lives in Abuja,
Mm,
and by name Freda Amon.
okay,
She was a victim of one chance. She was picked up around MTN office at Maitama, Abuja.
okay,
And at some point, I think after the whole incident, she was dropped around. Area One. I think the Area One bridge. That's the stadium Area One
Okay.
bridge.
Wow.
That was where she was dropped. But she eventually found herself in the hospital, and but unfortunately she passed on after sharing her own story, sharing the story of the whole incident,
Okay. She
of
was able
what
to
actually
talk, after
transpired.
when they took her to hospital. She narrated what
Yes,
happened then.
yes, she was able to
Okay.
talk. She shared the
Mm.
story of what actually transpired
Took
from
place,
what we
yeah.
saw.
Okay.
And then from there was some, striking thing she outlined. She said those guys actually knew. They said they actually admitted to them knowing that what
Ha.
they were doing was wrong.
Okay.
You understand? And they
Right.
part away with her iPhone 12,
Mm.
and probably some other belongings. So that's actually what happened. And for me, because I've had another incident sometimes last year, and that also happened to my younger sister's friend. She
Mm.
was picked up around Jai in Abuja. That same
Mm.
Abuja, she was picked up, and she wanted to go to Mabushi, but unfortunately, she found herself somewhere around somewhere around let's say outskirts of Abuja, sha.
Okay.
you know yeah, she was dropped around there. And from according to what she said
Mm.
immediately she entered, she didn't notice, everything was normal. She entered the vehicle. So
Mm.
when they moved to a certain distance, that was when they started threatening her. They
Okay.
held her head, bent her head, they started hitting her,
Mm.
asking her to give them money. At the end of the day, she it says she immediately removed everything in her bag and gave it to them,
Mm.
as if that was not even enough. They made her to start calling people, but she
To
was
send
also
her
into
money.
the hair business. She emptied the account for them. Yes, she started calling people, and she said each call, if it comes out positive, she's relaxed. But if it comes out negative, maybe the person says, "Sorry, I don't have money." That the
Mm.
beating, they injured her and all of that. She was
Mm.
just begging them, praying. At the end of the day, they dropped her around what's this Buari in Abuja.
Mm.
It was passerby that were able to help her, you know, because she was already emptied. She doesn't have money. She had to look for, they had to help her, put her in a vehicle, they paid. And she eventually got to Mabushi. When she got to Mabushi, took a cab to her friend's place, because she was actually heading to her friend's place.
Okay.
It was when the friends saw her, they had to rush her to the hospital
Mm.
immediately. And before, yeah, she was able to get herself back. They took her phone, took everything that belongs to her. And this brings us to the security concern in Abuja. This one chance, I don't know, it seems they have relocated from Lagos.
No,
It seems they
we
have
don't
moved
have them
from
like that.
Lagos to.
To be quite honest, right? The security in Lagos seems to be much more tight than in Abuja.
And
Literally,
but back then we used to hear these things happening in Lagos. So I'm
but not to the
surprised that is it's
yeah, but not to the extent that we. If you look at what is happening in Abuja, if you
true.
are like me and you have me, I go on NSPPD, so that one is known. And when I listened to some of I think a couple of weeks back, a guy came. The guy used to, I think the guy is an IT um, a consultant, so living in Abuja, I think originally from Lagos. So he spoke about what happened that these guys just came to where they were living, which looks like, one of these, middle class, upper class, enclave where they have all these luxurious flats. The guy said that was the third time they came,
Hmm.
and he saw from his window, he was having his bath, he saw from his window people, they followed the guy, that a young medical doctor. He said they macheted the guy
Hmm.
direct. Like, even you will not
Wow.
kill an animal like that except you are a sadist.
Hmm.
So those guys are obviously under some influence, some evil influence. If they like, they can be hiding and say it's because they were using drug. It doesn't matter. I pray that they will meet their opportunities. Honestly, I pray that they will, because he said he saw that. He said the first thing was like, that cannot be a human being. The guy begged them,
Mm,
take my car, gave them everything, and they still killed him. Whether it's out of envy, if you're angry at the government for yourself, these are people that they blame their lot in life in others. It doesn't matter what the situation in the country is. We all have to rise up, take our card, and deal with it, and rise up over
exactly.
those challenges. You can't say because I mean, I'm sure none of us human beings now. When you were coming on this earth, did you remember telling God that please put me in Nigeria, or please put me in? Some people would like to be born in maybe Germany or America or something like that. But sorry, it doesn't work like that. Life deals you your card. You take your card. We don't get to choose our parents, our siblings, or anywhere, location, whatever. We don't. It's only
Exactly.
when we are conscious, when we've grown to a level we are conscious, we make decisions about where we want to be, who to marry, who to stay with, who not to stay with, whatever. But these people are taking it that, so when people tell me, the government is bad, I say, What government is bad? Look at you. You are the government. You and I, we are the government.
Mm,
If they are treating us
you're
badly,
right.
like it is happening right now, we are complicit. Because when it is working for us, it's benefiting us. We was like, hey, man, I would die. Should be politicians now. Said they would die for they would die for the president. They would die. Whether things, if it doesn't pay them, do you think they will say that? It pays them now. That's why they're saying it. People who have no empathy, no compassion, who don't
Mm,
care about anybody. They tell you that things are
true.
improving and you're looking at, because so I'm one of those people that don't believe that the problem is entirely government. We the people have made it so. Go and do business. Is that not what happened? When you
Yeah.
do business in Nigeria now, when you want to buy something that maybe it cost maybe about 3,000 to produce, per unit, when they want to sell it, by the time the thing has changed hands like more than 20 times, what sort of business is that? Then they will tell you, this thing is now, instead of 4,000 now, it's now 70,000. What about the rice? The government gave out rice. You know, there are things that the government gets right now. They gave out rice to try and alleviate, that sort of food alleviation program. They gave it to workers, federal workers, and state local government workers as well, for like 40K. What happened when by the time those same people took it out there, sold it for 80K? Is that supposed to be business? Is that government? No, it's our national psyche. It's the way we do
Mm,
things. They will now say it is see the government. So no, it's not about see the government. When it's election time, they give them 5K. They collect the 5K and vote the way they said they should vote.
exactly.
Then after 1 month, they are complaining. Oh, this government is not good. Hello, who collected 5K? Some
I
might not collect
understand the
5K.
part that individually we have our own part to play, right? But the government needs to give
Mm.
up on the security measures. They need to put in place
I, I
the
I
right
totally no.
security measures to address
There,
this
there
because
are
it's
some things that
becoming
are
alarming. Yes, go ahead.
corruption. This is the result of corruption. When you see corruption is like a pandemic. In fact, it's not just pandemic, it's endemic. The worst, whatever you can name, you can call it. We need to call it the way it is. When corruption comes in, people think it's just about money, about people stealing money. No, it seeps into every nook and corner of the society. The way we do business, it goes into it. The way we talk to people, it goes
Mm,
into it. Trust. Anybody knows that, when you're talking about trust is something that you get to a level whenever we in the society, we need to have a level of trust of government within ourselves, in the wider society. But the moment it gets to a level that we don't trust ourselves, we become enemies to ourselves. The quality of life diminishes. Buy the, if you like, buy the best technology you have. People are were people not stealing those guards, when you're traveling on the express, that prevents, to help prevent if there's an accident, so that minimizes um the impact of accidents. People steal it to go and make spoons to sell, to say, man, you're a good businessman. We get that. That is what corruption has done in everything, in ways unimaginable. We can't even become, we can't even be talking anyway. Well, it's just really sad. This lady, obviously, like you said, now from Ghana, you know and I understand that the mother said she should leave Nigeria, situation, the security situation in
Yes.
Nigeria is a bit
And that's
hot.
also, sending a wrong signal about our country.
No, it is normal now. In the Western world, you see every time security alerts. Don't go to certain part of Nigeria. Don't go to the
Hmm.
north. Don't go. They have a lot of places that they actually mention like that that don't go to. Because of the threats to life and property. Property you can replace. Life once it's gone, and that's it. In a country that is well endowed, in natural resources, a country that we should be having, you know, millions and millions of multimillionaires without having to. Instead, we see our
Hmm.
names everywhere for corruption, for carrying drugs. So, I think we'll talk about that one tomorrow. So, because time is fast spent, so we need to round up now.
All
It's
right.
about the man that went to India. The man that went to India. So, they said the guy carried. The guy said he didn't carry anything. So I felt that one should be open and closed story because you can check the video footage that when it was coming in. The moment you get to the airport, before you start, putting your hand luggage is where they take it right into where it's actually taken into storage. At least it will show whether there was that bag there with him. At least it should be traceable up to an extent.
Hmm.
Outside of any airport, there are cameras there,
Hmm.
security camera. They can check that. So if it was a red bag, they said had the drugs. Do you understand? If they saw him carrying red bags, then the chances that man is I think it's only if indeed if that red bag they put it, but the guy said that's not his bag. I think if I read correctly, So it's so there are people they catch now, for crimes. You know what they will say? They will say they are Nigerians. They will catch somebody from Kenya. You will say he's Nigerian. In the UK, that happened when the police arrest some people. It's only later when they do detailed checks that you now find out that, I thought you said you are Nigerian, but you are from Ghana now. You are from Kenya. But because Nigeria, our name seems to be synonymous with corruption. So once they catch it, they just say I'm a Nigerian.
Fine.
So if they don't check, they won't know. Yeah. So that's
So
just what it
sad.
is. It is. So Jane, it's been a wonderful night, and it's great actually having you on, even though we said we wanted to be. So AI took everything away. You see, these are some of the things we need to throw in, on the big mic. Then we can have time to thrash the thing very well. That kind of thing. Anyway, so
Yeah.
from me, just want to say thank you
Thank
everyone,
you so
and
much.
from me, is good night. And Jane,
Thank you for watching. Do have a wonderful night rest.
Abi, you
Bye.
don't want to go. Abi, you don't want to go home.
It's not. Bye.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And see you again next time tomorrow. Good night and God bless.